We will not tolerate any beating, any disrespect towards any local Kenyan women.
I'm just like blown away right now that these chicks are so ugly to mid guys.
Now, first of all, I want to say he is not a representation of African Americans.
Get dressed. Put your clothes on. Put your clothes on.
It's sad that I even have to talk about this. What is going on? I am in the beautiful city of Bogota, but we are not going to be talking about Colombia right now. We are going to be talking about Kenya. Unless you have been living under a rock, you've no doubt heard about the situation regarding JRello, aka Rick Bentley. At least that's what his YouTube channel was called before he deleted it, apparently.
I'm officially banned on YouTube. Jerry's Turn is gone. Rello Travels is gone. Scott Inslee is gone.
After having called a woman of the night, we'll say, she refused to, participate in some activities, and he ended up kicking her out and possibly beating her in the process. I'm going to kind of address some of the things regarding JRello and the situation in Kenya. The reason I'm addressing it, I'm not gonna lie, I've been super busy. I have a bunch of projects coming up in September. Just haven't had the time to really give my channel the attention that it deserves. And I figured that this was probably the easiest way to kind of get some traction running off of, drama. Anyway, JRello was invited to Kenya by the YouTubers Kid Greatness, Austin Holloman.
Because I took that bitch. Are you insane?
Bro, every country I go, I always get the baddest in the vicinity, period.
One of the first things I want to talk about, if you're traveling, you really need to vet who it is that you kind of bring into your circle. When you go to another country, you do not want to be causing issues there, especially as a black man, especially as an American, where now you're going to cause a bad reputation for not only yourself, but the community that you represent. And, shout out to Austin and Kid Greatness. They both denounced his behavior. But if they'd done a little bit more research before he came, they'd have known that he's been problematic. There's a lot of other people that have come to Kenya that don't have the same, say, lack of class that was displayed by JRello in this video. But yeah, going into the video, one of the first things that you'll see is that he mentions he paid the lady X amount of shillings.
Money.
I paid you already. I gave you 10,000 to come here.
You didn't give it to me. You gave it to the company.
Well, yeah, but you lied. So you lied? You lied to me? Get dressed.
And that kind of really, to me, stands out to tell you what kind of person JRello is. He's a pay-for-play guy. You don't need to pay. You don't need to pay at all. If you are a decent-looking guy, you take care of yourself, jump on Tinder, and within a day, you will have more than enough to keep you occupied for a week, probably more. It's not that hard. You don't need to pay anybody. You can just say, hey, I want to do blah, 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 and you will find somebody. When you're the type of person who's just paying for, activities with the opposite sex, you're not really exhibiting any kind of, riz or swag or whatever you want to call it. That's just a transaction. A lot of the things that the Passport Bros movement, and I would throw JRello in the Passport Bro, Passport Pookie category, a big part of the impetus to go overseas and to interact with non-Western, non-American women was that they were different, that they were, they had better morals. When you're a pay-to-play guy, that's not what you're doing. That's just, that's bedtime tourism. That's all it is. It's not espousing the values of the whole, movement that a lot of these guys who travel claim to be a part of. If you see one of my first videos, I think it's the first video on my channel, I wholly distance myself from that movement. I will never call myself a passport bro. When I initially started traveling, I thought, oh yeah, it's cool, it's gonna be guys, looking to, either have families or, be more serious about The things that they do overseas, that's not been the case. It's just been dudes looking for, nighttime activities, tourism, and that's got nothing to do with what I do in Kenya. Second thing, I'm not trying to make fun of this lady. JRello brought up one of the things about Kenyan women being mid, and they ugly. They're poor, blah blah blah. There's many beautiful young ladies in Kenya that you can spend time with, that you don't have to pay, that you can have a genuine connection with. And that's another thing a lot of people don't know. In Kenya, like most places in the world, paying for nighttime activities is illegal. Admitting that on camera is absolutely dumb. It's beyond dumb. Number two, filming it is also illegal. You can't do that. I want to know what was going through his head when he sent that to somebody and thought that wasn't gonna get out. Even if they're down with what you do, like, they're not gonna try and take advantage of the drama. Another thing I want to talk about was when it comes to justice. If you saw the little intro clip I had, Austin was talking about people effectively taking the law into their own hands.
Guys, I want to make this very clear. I will say, for all the Black Americans that are here, I'm going to say that we will not, as a collective, we will not tolerate any beating, any disrespect towards any local Kenyan women. We will turn on you, and we will have legal action against you. And maybe not, some of the action might not even be legal, but you will face consequences because you do make us look horrible as a collective, because people are not smart enough to differentiate one person from the rest. So if they see you doing something, they'll say, oh, well, look at these crazy black folks out here. These crazy Black Americans, this is what they do, they slap and they beat women.
And while I highly doubt, and I would sincerely hope that Austin and any other expats in Kenya don't engage in those activities themselves, like individually, I will say that it is very common in Kenya for that type of stuff to happen.
Kenya is crazy, y'all. They cyber bullied me, y'all. Oh my God, these cyber bullied me out of this apartment, y'all. I'm never coming back here.
They are mourning at the home of Derek Otara in Kerira Village, Nyamira County. It has been barely 2 weeks since the 17-year-old high school student was lynched by a mob in Keroka town. The vigilante group later accused him of being a thief and that he had stolen chicken. The group was formed in 2015 after insecurity increased in the area, especially in Keroka town. It started as a well-intentioned community policing initiative. Its leader, called John Maroko, has been nicknamed Rambo.
See right there, that dude got killed over stealing some chickens. And if you go up to Meru, it's not uncommon. Like, dudes, they'll chop your hands off if you steal their miraa, right? Which is, it's like an herb that they chew. It's almost like coffee. It gets you a little, it's like a stimulant, like a 5-hour energy or whatever. Yeah, vigilante justice is not it's not uncommon. The clips that I just included, it's not rare. And those are the things that you see. There's plenty of things that happen behind the scenes that you'll just disappear. It'll be a missing person case. There won't be a body. There won't be anything at all. And, I sincerely hope that JRello is okay. I don't condone what he did at all. I want to make that very, 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 very clear. I don't condone what he did at all. Paying for nighttime activities, trying to film nighttime activities, or beating on a woman, that's crazy. Especially you're a guest in that country, you putting your hands on a woman in a country that you're a guest. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. But he put himself in real danger by not only recording it, but putting it out there. I actually reached out to him on Facebook directly, because I have some connections that, I couldn't guarantee that, he wouldn't get involved in some kind of, legal proceeding, but I could assist in making sure that he stayed safe. And he blocked me. And like, I'm gonna just tell you, if someone is coming to you from the States with some credentials and bona fides, and they're saying, hey man, you are in a not so safe situation. You might wanna, you know, beat feet and try and figure yourself out. Listen to that person, like listen to them, right? I have, you know, worked and lived in austere environments, and you know, I've part of my military training, and you know what I had to do in the military. Like, when you find yourself in a situation and someone's like, hey man, you might want to, you know, do something and get your butt out of there, you should listen to those people, right? Like, don't try and think, oh man, nah, this ain't nothing, these people are poor, you know, I'm hood, I'm this, I'm that. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not that guy. You come here, you're not that guy. Unless you speak Swahili, our special forces, CIA, any of that type of stuff, you're not gonna, you will put yourself in a situation that you will regret and might not ever be able to get out of. It's that serious. The whole thing with him is just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, he's had a history of bad behavior overseas. Like, it's just not, you know, it's not, you don't want to, you can't carry that stuff everywhere, right? A lot of people get lucky. Like, they really get lucky when it comes to where, like, if they act poor, if they behave poorly, and, you know, they might get, you know, yelled at, beat up, whatever, a little scuffle. There's, you know, they get lucky. And the more developed the places, ironically enough, the safer you are. JRello was right. Like, Kenya is a developing country. It's not poor, right? If you put yourself in those type of, you know, communities, yeah, you're gonna see a lot more poverty. But, you know, there's nice places, there's more developed places, and then there's less developed places. So just like anywhere else in the world. And if you put yourself in those less developed places, it's gonna look like, you know, it's gonna look like a poor country to you. But one of the things that happens in countries that are developing is that, you know, even if the safety, if you behave yourself, you'll be safe. But if you don't, the consequences can be much more dire. And, you know, I really wish him, you know, I wish him well. I wish him the best. You know, I hope he can, you know, he can get out of Kenya safely. Oh, I don't see him just easily slipping out the country. I hope he can. I hope he can safely exit. You know, if that's the, or, you know, he can either safely exit, or if he does get arrested, his safety is maintained. Because it's not like, again, Kenya does not operate like the rest of the world does, right? It's if you follow the rules, if you do the right thing, very safe country, no problems, not a whole bunch of issues. But if you don't, stuff can happen to you. I don't put myself out there doing wild stuff. I think my second video, I'm talking about taking my daughter to school, taking her bowling, right? Like, you're not gonna see me out here in the club, getting drunk, maybe saying some stuff, acting wild. No, that's like, you know, I'm not gonna be like, if you draw negative attention to yourself, you are going to have, no matter how innocent, if you draw negative attention to yourself, no matter how innocent you think that a particular activity might be, in Kenya, it's just not, like, it's not gonna fly. It's just not gonna fly. All right, but that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Again, I wish JRello the best outcome for his, you know, health and life. You know, if you want to come to Kenya, it is perfectly safe. It's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with the country of Kenya. I love Kenya. You know, I have a partner here. I have children here. They go to school here. I'm building a business here. It's great. It's great. And if you don't involve yourself with nonsense, you won't have to deal with nonsense. But if you start involving yourself with nonsense, the amount of nonsense that you will deal with in Kenya is far more than what you would expect or, you know, you would deal with in the States. And the safety nets that you are expecting to have do not exist. They just don't. You will have a bad time. So stay safe, keep watching, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Well, that was that. Maybe I'm not him. Maybe I'm not him.